Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my newly renamed podcast. It's Mind Over Chatter. Today, we have a very, very special guest, and we're going to be talking about our experience as freshers. So, everybody, please welcome Jaya!
Hi!
Okay, so Jaya, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me. I'm
Of
Jaya.
course.
I am Ria's childhood best friend. I've known her since she was literally just out the womb.
Oh, dear.
And I just finished my first year at uni at Cambridge.
Props to Jaya.
And yeah, that's me.
That's her. So basically, yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking a bit about freshers and, you know, how we felt during freshers and how, like, what our expectations were going into freshers and maybe some advice that we have for new freshers and maybe, like, freshers in the future, I guess. So yeah, I guess my first question was, what did you think about, like, was the fresher experience before you went to uni? Like, what had you heard about it?
So in our sixth form, we had a lot of people come in and talk about like the fresher experience and what to expect. And the main message that I got from them was to have no expectations.
Okay.
Because they were like, everyone's freshers experience is so different, blah, blah, blah. But then inevitably you are going to have some expectations. So
Yes.
in my head, I thought it would just be like, I don't know, going out every night clubbing, meeting tons of people, getting like 500 Instagram new mutuals in one day. So yeah, that is sort of like what I inevitably thought would happen.
Yeah, I think same. I think I heard a lot about how like freshers, like first year is your year for like partying and like getting to know people and like getting to know like the area around you and like getting used to campus and everything. And so again, I was expecting like meeting like tons of new people and going out every night. And I was like, well, because I'm like not like the biggest fan of going out, I was like, oh my god, like what if I like make no friends because everyone's going out and maybe I don't want to like go out for as long. But anyways, that was what I thought. And like, do you think it was good having like, well, thinking like that you should have no expectations? Or
I think the advice that I got was very good.
Okay.
Because they did say like put yourself out there and
Yeah.
everything. They gave us the typical tips. But I think it's a good piece of advice to say go into it with very few expectations, because it's just so different how everyone's experiences are like.
Exactly, depending on the
different
type
things.
of person you are as well. Like, and I think that's really helpful that because everyone sort of like wants to put themselves out there, but then also like if you're being told to be yourself, then you really easily find people who are similar to you.
Yeah.
Like you find your people who like want to like hang out and do the same things that you want to do, which I think is like really good. So like being yourself whilst making an effort to make friends is like really important. Okay, next sort of question is, how did you feel during, well, first of all, during your like first couple of weeks as a fresher, how were you feeling?
Okay, so I know everyone's experience is very different and I don't want to look back at it with sort of rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
But I think my personal experience was so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't put it in better words. Yes, there were times when I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I'm so overwhelmed. I just want to go home. But I think I was very fortunate in the fact that I had a campus university, and so I'm quite naturally introverted.
Yeah. But
I sort of didn't have any other option but to put myself out there and meet so many people because everyone's just, it's like forced proximity. You just make friends, like, naturally.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was very busy, very sleep deprived. And I think if I didn't sort of get into that sort of drinking culture, which I can understand some people don't want to go out to clubs and stuff, I can understand why that would really undermine like the experience, because you just hear people leaving and just in your room like, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think overall it was very busy but very fun.
Yeah. Did you get freshers flu?
badly.
No way.
Oh, it was so
That's
bad.
not good.
Yeah,
I know so many people did as
Yeah.
well. I managed to escape it.
How on earth?
Just mad skills, honestly. And do you think that, like, I mean, like, obviously people don't want to be drinking and when they're going out, but I, like, personally, I didn't feel like that was like one of the most important things to like do if you wanted to go out. Like if you wanted to go out, it was like there was no judgment if you weren't going to be drinking. Like people were so like they were just so open to making new friends that they were like, if you're like spent like hanging out, like going to clubs or like parties or whatever, then they're like it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're like around.
That is so true. Like I thought there would be so much peer pressure, like you know, don't do drugs, don't do drinking, like all of that. Literally no one notices and no one cares as long as you're there, you show up, you're just with people.
Exactly.
Like it's so we had these socials where it was like, oh, bring along a bottle of wine, or you can bring along a bottle of milk, or you can just bring like chocolate, like
bring
no
along
one cares.
something.
Bring along yourself.
Yeah, honestly, so good. And you mentioned that you like missed home. Was it hard, like being, well, you weren't in the same city as home, so was that hard?
Yeah, I think because I was very fortunate to have, like, we're both very fortunate to have families who we know we can go back to whenever we want. They'll welcome us with open arms. Like, they want us to come home. They don't even want us at uni that far away. So I think that is what made it hard. And it almost felt like sort of a sense of guilt sometimes, leaving behind your family and just experiencing so many different things and not keeping them as updated as normal. So I came home, because Cambridge terms are 8 weeks, so they're quite short already. So I came home 5 weeks in, my first time, and I completely crashed, and I was like, oh my god, like I completely forgot how being at home feels like. But because I was so busy, I sort of forgot to miss
I guess you were
so
distracted by things you had to do. That makes so much sense. I think for me, I was super homesick. I don't know why, but I feel like being in London, literally just like one tube ride away from home, made my homesickness like even worse. I was home literally every other week. It was crazy, and I would need to call my mom or Raina like at least 5 times a day. But I don't know. I think, because I'm not usually a homesick. I don't usually get homesick, but I think because I was so focused on how being a fresher was like so much independence and I was going to have so much fun, I forgot to like almost mourn not being at home anymore. Like I was just so excited to leave that I didn't like actually think about what leaving meant, you know? But yeah, I think I was quite homesick.
I can definitely see myself being homesick if I was quite close to home, because even the process of moving out, you don't say like a big goodbye.
Yeah, exactly, because you're like, oh, we're right around the corner. But like, I feel like once you're at uni, there's almost this like, not pressure really, because like no one's saying, oh, like, don't go home, but like a pressure to like go and live your own life, and like you can't really rely on your parents. I don't know.
I definitely felt that pressure as well. Yeah.
How did you deal with like freshers blues, I'm calling it, instead of freshers flu?
Freshers flu and blue. I think so. My version of freshers flu, how I interpret it, is sort of feeling very, very overwhelmed and like maybe sometimes lonely. And so how I would deal with that is, yes, sometimes I just hole up in my room and just like under my heated blanket and just cry. But it would just be forcing myself to hang around people I like and who I know like me. And just forcing that interaction, just having a conversation, and it's like, oh, nothing's that deep. Everyone feels the same as you do.
That is such a good point. I remember like being in my room sometimes and just crying, and I'm like, wow, I feel like so alone. And then I would like see my friends like the next day, and I'd be telling them about how I was so sad, and they were like honestly, me too. Like I was like literally crying as well, and I'm like, wow, like I'm not the only one. Everyone is feeling this way. And I don't know like why we didn't just like talk about it, like, or like share our sadness. Like I felt like we wanted to keep our sadness to ourselves. Exactly. But I also feel like it's so important to like acknowledge that it's not always going to be like amazing and like exciting. Like there are going to be ups and downs, and I feel like sharing those times with your friends as well as the highs is like equally as
That
important.
just builds like even stronger friendships
exactly
at the end of it as well.
Exactly. Like, you shouldn't be embarrassed to hide that, because
Definitely.
as I said, literally everyone is feeling it.
Yeah.
Maybe in different amounts, but feeling it still. Definitely. And what are like some, I guess we said like forcing conversations with friends, but did you have like an activity or like a routine type thing that helped?
I think I think joining some societies is a typical thing, but not even like serious things, like going out for meals, or we were very lucky to have like a buttery. I think some uni comms in London have that as well. Like,
would you like to explain what a buttery is?
Yeah, a buttery is like it's the place in our college that provided like lunch and dinner and sometimes breakfast every single day. And I think we were lucky to have that, because sort of everyone would go to that for food, because it was so cheap compared to cooking at home.
Exactly.
And so that sort of just bumping into people there and just sitting with people at a table that you don't really know. That was just really easy and didn't feel forced.
Exactly. Exactly. And I guess for me, I think the thing that helped me the most was, like you said, joining a club or society. Like, I joined football, and I think for the first few weeks, it was like we were still like settling the team and deciding who would play in matches and like who the regulars were, training and like things like that. And I think once that like became not really set in stone, but like it became more regular and more often, I think that really helped me, because for me, a big thing in my life has always been sports. And I think that just like going and playing football with these people who are like so relaxed, like, because I was on the second team, so like we didn't not like take it that seriously. Like, yes, we wanted to improve, but we wanted to just like go and like chat with each other and like have fun and laugh about like random stuff. I really think that helped me like feel a lot more like I belonged, you know, like that sense of community was so like integral in my settling in phase, I think.
Yeah, that's so true. Something I've noticed in like in my year cohort is that people who have quite solid group of friends, they genuinely come from their sports team. So there's like the hockey lot, the rowing lot, and so even if you've never played a sport in your life before, just throw yourself into something.
Exactly. And I think the important thing to keep in mind as a fresher is that you don't know where your friends are going to come from. Like, they could, like, yes, they might be on your course and in the same accommodation and, like, I don't know, from the same place that you are. But then, like, for example, for me, like, I have friends on football who've, like, just graduated. So they're, like, 3 years above me. And then, like, I would never expect that. And then I have a friend who I met because she has like half of the same modules as me, and like we just go to spin class, and like it's like we do the same subject, but when we hang out it's nothing to do with that. It's like, I don't know, like you never know where your friends are going to come from.
Yeah, it's so important to keep an open mind. Like, because in freshers, we were talking about this the other day, it's you go around and it feels like you're asking everyone the same three set of questions, like what course do you do, which like sixth form, like where do you live, what comm are you in, and then you use that to sort of determine and predict who your friends are going to be, and it just doesn't work out.
It doesn't
like
work out that way. No, I think out of like maybe I'd say like 70 people I met in that like first 2 or 3 days, I think I'm only still friends with maybe like 10 of them. Like only some of them really like stuck around and like were my kind of people, you know. So yeah, keeping an open mind, very important. And on that note, what is one like good piece of advice you'd give to a fresher?
Okay, I think it would be, okay, this sort of is going off track from what we were just talking about, but I think knowing yourself.
Okay.
Because how we were saying, like, it's very important to keep an open mind and everything and do all the societies you can, throw yourself into everything. But I think it's very important also to balance that with retaining your sense of self and not losing who you know you are. And so sort of knowing what boundaries you set with like boys, drinking, like sports, friends, timing, sleep schedules even. It's so important to keep that sort of security in yourself because it's very easy to lose yourself in the fresher experience. hoping to have fun.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, while you should keep very open-minded and everything, just remember who you are, remember what you like, and don't feel like you have to mold yourself into anything.
Yeah. I think my piece of advice is really similar to that. Like, put yourself first.
Yeah.
Like, because you're only going to have the best time if you yourself are feeling good. Like, if that means you have to take some time to yourself and, like, have a nap, of which I had many, then, like, do that. Or if you need to, like, just go home, if you can go home, then, like, go home. Like, don't feel the pressure to, like, be the person you think other people want you to be. Put yourself first.
Facts.
I think that's a really good piece of advice. And of course, I have a joke, and it's kind of on theme. So here it is. Think of a really funny name.
Bob.
What? What? Why did Bob study on the plane?
I don't know.
Because he wanted a higher education.
Honey.
You're not even laughing! No! The way I laughed at it before you laughed at it, that's bad.
I'm laughing now.
Okay, well, you can tell your friends that one if you laughed. But that's it for today. Thanks, Jaya.
Thanks for having me.
And if you made it this far, I love you. See you next time. Bye.